The Supreme Court has ruled that a Deputy Speaker of Parliament can be counted during formation of a quorum for parliamentary decision-making as well as participate in voting. The court, presided over by Justice Jones Doche, therefore affirmed the approval of the 2020 budget that took place without the participation of the NDC MPs. Private legal practitioner Justice Abdullahi filed the case against the Attorney General. He had asked the Supreme Court to interpret Articles 102, 104 of the 1992 Constitution and declare the action of the Deputy Speaker Jose Wusu during the approval of the budget as unconstitutional. The court disagreed. We'll be hearing from court correspondent Joseph Akable very soon. But first, let's hear the Attorney General on this.
The Supreme Court has basically upheld the argument that you made. Can you just clarify basically what?
Well, I think it's quite simple and straightforward. I perceive the issues are very simple and straightforward because nowhere in the Constitution has any statement been made that whenever a Deputy Speaker presides, he loses his right to vote. And indeed, as I indicated in submissions for the court, all the circumstances under which a member of Parliament will lose his right to vote have actually been spelled out in Article 104 itself. And so it is really devoid of controversy. And it's also very important to know that in all jurisdictions around the world, whenever the Speaker of Parliament or a Deputy Speaker of Parliament is a member of Parliament, he always has the right to vote. In England, it's the same. In America, it's the same. In Australia, Canada, everywhere is the same. In Kenya, even in Africa, Kenya, South Africa is also the same. Whenever the Speaker of Parliament or Deputy Speaker of Parliament is an MP, he never loses the right to vote. The right to vote is actually linked to the right to represent his constituency. Are we saying that on account of the person being a Deputy Speaker, he loses the right to represent his people when a major issue of national importance has arisen? I think the reason by the Supreme Court clearly is sound, is in accord with the practice in other jurisdictions around the world, and also clearly borne out by the letter and spirit of relevant provisions of the Constitution.
The lawyer who filed this case, Justice Abdullahi, has been speaking as well.
I'm surprised. I'm not surprised because I'm a lawyer. I know that going to court, there are only two outcomes. It's not like a football game where there'll be a draw. There would either be a win or a lose. But in this case, I think there's actually no one lost because I think the Constitution wins, the people of Ghana win, and this is the best decision that I think we should have had. It puts clarity on the law, despite the fact that some of the reliefs that I was seeking were not obtained. But there's a far-reaching decision that has been made by the Supreme Court today, to the extent of striking out portions of the standing orders, and this is very good for all of us. It puts clarity on the rules of Parliament, and indeed, it makes all of us citizens. And I think I would probably use this opportunity to invite all of us to be participants in the democratic credentials of this country. We all have to play our roles to ensure that we get the best outcomes of our constitution. This is just one of the things that we'll be doing going forward to ensure that the difficult decisions in bringing the sort of cases to the Supreme Court for clarity to be put on some of the issues that borders on sometimes illegality are all put to the past. This is what we stand for, and this is what I'm willing to do as a citizen of this country to ensure that our children and indeed our grandchildren live a better life in this country.
We're going to now speak with court correspondent Joseph Akable, who's been caught for us. Akable, we understand that parts of the standing orders of Parliament were struck out. Which parts are those?
So specifically, Aisha, one part of the standing orders that reads that a Deputy Speaker or any other member presiding shall not retain his original vote while presiding. The Supreme Court says that this particular portion of the standing orders is unconstitutional and has therefore struck out that portion from the standing orders of Parliament. Substantively, the two main issues that it dealt with has to do with whether or not the Deputy Speaker or any other person presiding can form part of the one house required to form a quorum for parliamentary decision making. The court said that yes, the Deputy Speaker can be counted when form a quorum to make decisions. On the issue of whether or not the Deputy Speaker can vote and take part in the decision making, the court said yes, he can vote and take part in the decision making. You recall these two issues is what formed the basis of the NDC's claim that George Ewusu and the MPP's approval of the budget on November 21. You recall that parliamentary process, the NDC MPs were not present, so they have made the argument that once George Ewusu was presiding, he could not have formed a quorum because half of the MPs were not present, simply because the NDC MPs were not around. But the court has said that it can form part of the council for a quorum for decision making. And so that settles that particular issue, and the court also concluded that the approval of the budget was therefore valid.
Now, what has been the reaction to this decision, Joseph?
The Attorney General, Godfrey Adame, says he expects the scenes that we saw in Parliament, the chaotic scenes, he doesn't expect it to happen again because there's clarity on the issue that George Ewusu can't take part in voting even when he's presiding.
I'm grateful for the updates. That's Joseph Akable. He's our court correspondent, bringing us more on that case involving the Deputy Speaker of Parliament as to whether he can vote during a formation of a quorum.